who had a tree to climb and a pond in the wood and 3 pairs of shoes to choose from depending on the weather, her own jar of peanut butter and a spoon, cherry cough drop in her purse, who had locks on every door, front, kitchen, basement, bathroom, bedroom, so she could sleep safe from the heavy fingers of monsters, who had 12 you could run to if things went wrong, and pocket money to disguise them all. $5 for gas, $10 for burgers and wine coolers fizzing right to her head. But the job at a record store, flirting with older men and skater boys and black guys who pretended they were Tupac, and held her hand across the counter and said, "Bitch," like it was a wedding vow. Who had sex with men she wanted but did not intend to keep, and no one hit her with a rock, who threw acid on her face or insisted that her brother killed her, whose mother called her a whore in the middle of making dinner, and in the end, after the slap and the tears, it wasn't as bad as she'd expected it to be. Who got out? Signed papers, made the promises, packed her car, and moved away again and again. Who stayed young and pretty long enough to marry well and learn to blush about money, about having it unearned through no work of her hands. Spoiled girl who sends her red-haired sons out to play in the city without helmets or warnings or IDs. Because she knows even if they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, with the wrong people, the police will bring them home alive.
Just a quick note of bathroom is right up here to your right. We have our thank you signer showing second. I was going to say what you did very rich in England that was built real carpenters, design architect, and I'm not kidding. Bathrooms. You know, 27, or less than 26. I was alert. What you call those? Yeah. Except for real alert. And it was continue here this evening of poetry with attitude. Let me read up our next poet. Oh man, you're gonna be blown away. Kaboom kind of thing. We met one day at 69th Street in Stony Island. I walked in there looking for a shot of whiskey. The place was empty except for this brother. He was just sitting way at the end. Bartender looks at me like I was something like that. Yeah, I look like one of them undercover cops, you know. Technical. Well, I was wearing a uniform with a badge on it, so I think I kind of gave it away. But it was still Halloween. So hard. Are you texting your mother, come and get me? Mom, I'm at a poetry reading. Please come and get me the help. Getting stuff. Anyway, I'm just. She was like she could kick my ass in 3 seconds. In 3 moves, I can chest. Yeah. Aren't you? Neighborings, I knew still every single one. Pretty psycho, I mean psychic. So I order a beer and a shot, and I'm looking at the brother, he's playing with his drink, I'm there for an hour and a half, and he hasn't touched it. So damn, I walked over there and said, hey bro, man, I'm a therapist. See you therapy. Kind of stuff, you know, that. He's already gonna say, stop your fucking drink, blow your brains out, and see me in the morning. Or the hideout for weeds night, ladies and gentlemen. John, had 2 letters. Let's give him a nice warm hand. Come
Really nice. That was the best speech of my life. And I can do whatever whatever they call it. Yeah. Cool. All right. So the poetry place, if I can find it.
It was the right choice.
Yeah, I was all and I also poshed. Hopefully I can disregard. There we go. I call this America Plus. Am I going in and out? Should I stay right here? What's the best audio? Is this good?
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, let's play wherever I lay my head is my home. I've been rolling around the black rolling stone, the passion of motion zone, traveler through space and time. The my people is hard to find, taken and hidden from me behind the church steeple, with a gun like he's my people. I know I was born of Mother Earth, their savior, my true being without a wrinkle in time. It's hard to figure out who I am when I've lost half my means from my ancestors' line. How can you ask questions from a teacher that you cannot find? Travel looking for my village that I've never been to, tongue that I've never spoken. Sometimes I feel 1 part American and 11 parts black. To put that into a quantifiable number, to be exact. America plus 10 equals Black America.
All right.
This is good bike curry. Like a psych. This curry. Inspired. So far, bravado, mad skill, death of fear itself. Death of fear. I feel I can predict the unexpected, and control the expected. I know cycling is a humble. How can you humble a king in his own court? As I carve my Kumali sword, slicing meat to the cars. I laugh at they are all shit in the city. I cover against now I walk. As I burn holes through traffic and napkins, I ask myself to be fabric trapped in the pain. Could this pop? For I know you see the city I call picture for me. Can I keep going?
One more.
All right, one more. All right.
You get 3.
So would you guys rather hear sex or love?
Sex.
Sex?
You got a whole bunch of women in here. What do you think?
Let's hit it. sex is not just sex to me. You, the flesh, you, the manifestation of the temple of she that is her, Mother Earth. I have come before your altars, she that is her, Mother Earth, my creator soul. When I come for prayer, this you must know. I will kiss sweet blessings from your head to your toes. I will speak prayers with my tongue. Body gyrates and release of sweet nectar I must indulge myself while finding you, myself while discovering you. You, the feminine energy, and I have brought my masculine virility, still in the offering to you, your mother. I become one in the ancient ritual that creates life. I take it in of you. Know that in this room, you are the temple I come to myself before. I have come with all that I am meant to be with you. Thank you.
All right.
Hey man, I don't need to be when you say you're a biker. A biker is a person, woman, who rides a bicycle. We call it, mine is outside. Mine is CC, 100 on the road, and I'm only in third gear. Actually, it's not true. I always wanted to be a biker, you know, where the cool bags with patches in the bags. San Francisco, chingale. Yeah. Skulls and space and shit. I once asked a friend, this is a true thing. He's wearing a patch, a lot of bikers. He's wearing a patch that says Dilligaff. An idiot, I don't know what it is. So he's up. I said, hey, bro. He says, I said, I'm telling you, do I look 3 times like an idiot? Dilligaff. Do I look like I give a fuck? I said, like, shh. He said, man, you're not going to be a biker anytime soon, are you?
He shops where Melania shops.
Thank you, Chuck. You're not coming until the end, by the way. This point is really an interesting person that we've known, we know her, she knows them. She leaves her children at home, tied down chairs on Monday nights here and do her poetry. Kidding you, man. You know, you guys out there, you know, you don't worry about it, man. It's not true, but it's true. She told me one day, I can't make it today. I said, okay, there's no problem. And then about 35 minutes later, boom, she shows up. I said, hey, Carol, what are you doing here? She goes, oh, I take the kids down, you know, and put them to bed. I thought she was kidding until we saw the photographs in the police blotter. Wanted, looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol Carson, put your hands together and bring it to the microphone. No. 45 will come looking for you.
This is the hideout. This is why it's named the hideout. You're safe.
It's used our hideout.
I got a quick story that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I self-published my first book about a month ago. It's called Friends. And I was in the manager meeting, and my boss was kind enough to bring up Amazon.com for the other directors. He said, look, Carolyn's published her first book. And he threw out, what can you do with my green tea? And I was like, oh my God, it was a poetry prompt. I wrote it down, went home that night, puzzled over it, popped out a quote. I announced at my meeting this past week, and the director said, aha, what can you do with oranges? Oh boy, nothing rhymes with orange. That director, I have a poem here called Raw Season. He tossed out oranges as if they were to be feared. Them around my head like fruit salad, all mixed up. This jumbled world where words don't rhyme and the orange sun never sets long enough for me to rest. I find comfort hidden in the valleys of my mind where the bright skylight dims to dusk and shadows of amber, honey, and gold. I hold in the palm of my hand this expanse of nothingness, like the dark closing in the great and weary soul. The empty blinds are or hot, angry flares rise up and demand their due, and command our attention to these minor distracting us from being bigger than the picture or smaller than our ego. We go forward hand in hand, journeying through the strange land where orange suns never set long, and these tiny words don't rhyme. This one is from the book that just got published. It's called Slipping Away. Shooting stars like the dreams that got away. So close that almost time it never came. Stars go when they die. Spinning, closing, ticking tight. All her low suspended these may all sing. Never go away far from her soul. Then silently bleeding. Wounds that won't close and scars only fade. Trails in the night sky slipping away. The book, including myself. I wrote this one. It's called Doubters. They said I couldn't write the way they said I have to. I couldn't love the way I need to. Every word I have ever sent to the page that I couldn't meant to, but I gave for you erased my. They said I couldn't heal to. They were wrong.
Nobody is right. No one. Humanity is filled with wrongs, except for this group over here. They're Mormons. I don't know why they're here. By the way, did you give your $20 donation?
It's there.
I'm cheap, but I'm not that cheap. I mean, it's a 2-drink screw, you know?
Screwdriver.
Thank you. That comes from my brother Camilo. Hey, anybody here wants to get a tat? Camilo's in the house, man. One of the best artists in Illinois, Tri-County, in the nation. He did this tattoo. It was supposed to be a picture. What the fuck? You know? You cry. But it's okay. Hi guys, I'm not ignoring you, man. You just. Yeah, you look like, people like, revolutionaries or the. Because that's what we are, we're word crunchers, we're revolutionary poetry. We are here where we come and hang out. We fly in the Battlestar Poetic. Remember that? Maybe too old to remember that.
Full statement ahead.
Games.
I'm a son.
For a long time, Oh, you gotta go already? Some minute.
Be nice, G.
No, I'm just trying to do some exposure and I'm being interrupted. That was good. Ladies, the next part right here, we supposed to remind you, he's a published author, a novelist, a journalist, a photo blogger. By the way, sometime this week, Wednesday or so, just go to our Facebook page, we supposed to remind Facebook, Facebook. Check it out. Your picture will be there. You'll be famous of your life, and you're gonna look at that photo. Yeah, I was there that night, man. When they do my documentary, and I knew that guy. He was kind of a jerk, but funny sometimes. But it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best things about this guy, besides his biography, is unofficial, ladies and gentlemen. He has been writing my unofficial autobiography for the past 17 goddamn complex pages now. Wow. Publisher from once the book. Deadline. $3.99 is going to be coming at $35 a crack, so make sure you're on Amazon, YouTube, and stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, just again,
I'm going to remind you that you can pre-order that book at the price of $139. And that will, reservation is valid. And your grandchildren will link to the Facebook page so they'll be able to see doing your poetry, a great investment. So this is Dancing with Shadows. Day, I go in the house and climb the stairs to the second floor. I sit at the window and watch darkness along, obscuring my light as the occasional car glides past, carrying people to distant unknown scene I will be. But the house will moving in the kitchen below, the air rich with the aroma of roasting meat, the TV laughing mechanically in the family room. I light the old candle in my mother's dresser, and the room is filled with skeletal shadows as I watch as they dart and dive, straining to hear the whispering, the whispers curling their lips, but I can't make out what they're saying. They're murmuring, impossible to understand. I avert my eyes when the boatman pulls past the stair, knowing I'll see. You know, resigned, I'm disappointed I will leave behind so much undone. I go up to the attic and rummage through the discards of the past, a tangled ball of days which hides its secrets in a web of stubborn silence. When I stand to go, I bang my head on the low ceiling in the tight, cramped space of my own limitations and infirmities. And I realize, like anyone else with cold, bony fingers on his shoulder, I'm alone in this murky light at the end of the day. I step out on the roof and raise my face to the moon. Flooded with light, I float through the thin, vaporous clouds of my youthful dreams. The horizon clears as I near a shimmering star which looks like a door opening on a warm room filled with laughter. I enter, hoping I've arrived at a new destination, but worried this might be the final departure. As I step in, and the door closes behind me. And I wanted to... Ocean Beyond is a young poet who lives in Brooklyn. He published his first book last year. He's really a terrific poet. And he had no fear with an epigraph from one of his poems. The epigraph is, don't be afraid. The gunfire around the people trying to live a little longer. Rest easy. Gunfire is for change. No fear. Gunfire sparks the night, a flash of light. You move on. Don't shrink from fierce gunfire. It's the voice of fervent dreams, raging fevers, tepid maladies, the road to your future. Have no fear. The gun is your fist, a menacing name, redemption from castrated mornings and the conquest of midnight despair. The darkness covers the blood, the bullets, the tears, the metallic aftertaste. There's nothing to fear. It's morning, and the sun only seems harsh. I sent a copy of that to Ron. He said, thanks. But I'm in China and I'm busy. So let's end with a love poem. Since we're in the hideout, we're is everywhere.
Yes.
So hit and run romance. I fell in love with a girl whose father was executed by the mob one morning on his way to work. Her kisses were sweet, her tongue a tour of Mediterranean mysteries. The car door slammed in the corners of her doomed smile when I rested my head on her chest and bullets ricocheted in her heart. I adored her, but I understood when she ran off with a commodities broker. Pork bellies have a predictable future.
And they're going tiger children. What is not predictable, ladies and gentlemen, is Weed's poetry, The Hideout. I can never predict, even though I know the poet is coming up, or the audience that are here, how they're going to react. Sometimes the dead silence. Well, only because there's nobody here, and therefore I'm just talking to myself, but still that silence. And then other times, there's this reverberation of great sound, not only from the poet, but from the audience, enjoying what is being spewed through these wires. Our next poet is that. He spews things, makes you want to we go. She's not really a Mormon. She's an avowed Catholic, and it's even worse. I'm Catholic. Sorry. I have a story about Catholicism, but I'm afraid I take too long.
It's in the autobiography. Don't worry, you won't miss it.
2099. Predictability, ladies and gentlemen, is not something that you can predict. Is that true or not true? Can you predict predictability?
You're like a super confident person.
I think they misunderstand the question. You can't predict predictability because it's predictable.
They're always on
There you go. That's the answer I was looking for, ladies and gentlemen. Because we're always, one more time, wrong. And therefore our next poet is definitely wrong. He will be wrong the moment he gets in front of this microphone. He will be wrong the moment he gets up. But it's up to you to let him know. Mr. Robert Jones is in the house. Let's give him a nice little hand. Let's see how wrong he is this evening.
Her tongue was a mystery. Her tongue was,
A tour of Mediterranean Mystery Bay.
damn. That's a good tongue. Real good tongue. I want to do something a little different.
Yeah, you only got 3 poems. So
Well, you made that clear. As I was saying, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to read a poem of one of my poetic mentors. Is anyone familiar with the work of Ken Foreman?
Oh yeah, absolutely. May he rest in peace.
So I want to do a poem of it, and I'm going to be real brief here because my poems are like 2%, and I don't know this by heart, so it's often it's This poem is called Hammer Song. Huh! 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 What's that you say, mister? Huh! No, this hammer don't blister. Huh! I've been fighting this hammer 41 years today. Huh! This here for an old man to play. Huh! Now when I was young, it wasn't much of a fight. Huh! I swing this hammer all day and then drink whiskey all night. Huh! I got me a good woman, raised a boy and a girl. Huh! My boy's name's Willie, and my girl's name's Pearl. Huh! Got a 7-room house and an 86 Ford. Huh! And I fought this damn hammer for every damn board. Huh! My gal married her dentist, sent my boy away to school. Huh! All that book learning, he's still a damn fool. Huh! I can't drive still like I used to. I'm gonna shave past my peak. Huh! This old hammer's getting stronger, and I'm getting weak. Huh! It ain't been a bad swap though, to tell you the truth. Huh! It gave me the things I spoke of, and I gave it. Huh! Damn! Missed that big spot. Getting so I can't see. Huh! There. Say what? No, can't say that I have. John Henry. Who's he? Huh! 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 That's that piece.
All right.
My phone is still at 2%. Samsung, baby, Samsung. This is one of my poems. It's like one of the first poems I ever wrote. It's called The Blues. I am the blues. I I am noble black misery, trapped on the inside of strings and keys, looking for someone who understands a blues man to set me free. I'm a long way from home, come from across the sea, traveling on a one-way ticket towards a thing called destiny. I'm a forgotten whisper in Alabama, Birmingham hear me roar, while I move on up a little higher as my notes begin to soar. I was Robert Johnson trying to sell his soul when up jumped the devil on that old crossroads. He went down to the crossroads. He went down to the crossroads to sell his soul. He went down to the crossroads to find me, to learn me, to feel me. I was thunder and lightning in Mississippi, Negroes hanging like fruit from trees, juke joint drowning in moonshine, piano man banging out a weary melody. I'm that cold chill when BB makes Lucille squeal, trying to figure out how his thrill done got gone. I was Sister Betty's scream and Coretta's dream that died on that balcony in Memphis, Tennessee. I am noble black misery, trapped on the inside of strings and keys. God Almighty God, once you set me free. That's that piece. I guess this poem is about temptation. I've got Satan to my left and I've got Gabriel to my right, and they both be whispering in my ear. What Gabriel be saying becoming kind of fuzzy, but what Satan be saying becoming real clear. See, I'm torn. I'm torn between the sin of Saturday night and the song of Sunday morn, between righteousness and the lust of brown succulent flesh, moving languidly in the night, beckoning for me to come. To come and place my hands upon our mountains as they erupt, sending passion and desire flowing over the circumference of her being. To dig into the dry, fertile soil of her landscape and field what the New World had wrought. To become twisted and entangled in the tantalizing terror of a dance. And explain to me, please explain to me what you would do with the head of a man. Faithless, whore, temptress of the night. You promise nothing but death and destruction, fire and brimstone, rising to a pinnacle, twisting and turning and burning and burning. So what will be gates or hell's flames or righteous man's glory or horror shame? See, I've got Satan to my left and I've got Gabriel to my right, and they both be whispering in my ear. What Gabriel be saying becoming kind of fuzzy, but what Satan be saying becoming real clear. See that girl on the third pew? She looking at you. I bet you if you sneak in through the back door, you can get out before anybody knows. I'm haunted. I'm haunted by hellified hips and open-toed sandals and daisy, dutifully demonstrating a demonic desire for lustful liaisons with lips. Then she dips in capri pants that capriciously captivate my cranium, causing clandestine kisses and caresses to cultivate a sinful seed in my spirit. Sweet Jesus, pluck out my eye. Better lose an eye than to burn. Cut off my arm. Better to lose an arm than to face the judgment. See, I'm torn. I'm torn, I'm twisted, distorted, and I resorted to prayer. That's right.
I'm torn, ladies and gentlemen. Because I am an avowed Catholic, I'm a sinner. I sin every day of my life. But because I am Catholic, I have a way out. I have a way out. You see, according to Catholicism philosophy, we can go to the house of God, the man himself, kneel in front of some jerk in a black robe and say, Father, forgive me for I have sinned. And he says, my child, tell me your sin. Well, I fornicated, I lied, I drank, I smoked pot, all kinds of crap shit. And then he's my child. Go out to the pews, say 4 Hail Marys, 13 Our Fathers, 1 Rosary, and you will be forgiven. And on church day, come in, listen to the Mass, and take a little wafer. Go with God. So I go out to the pews, I do my thing. Sunday morning, I come out of church and I'm free as a bird. Because on Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen, guess what I'm going to do? I start sinning again. Shit. It's true, you know that. You say you're a Catholic, right? You remember the teachings at least.
Jesus?
Well, I am, and God bless you.
Lord be with you.
God has blessed me one too many times, and I almost got busted the last time He blessed me. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring up our... I almost forgot who the hell was next. I was so busy being baptized again. I drink with the holy water as much as I can. Did you know one last thing? When I was a bitty baby, well, it must be a bitty baby to be a baby, right? We do have babies, so they have to be bitties. They were. It's on film. She finally admits it. I grew up in a very rural town in Mexico, in Veracruz, very rural town called Casablanca. And now it's a big city with paved roads and everything. But in those days, 1891 I think it was, I look good for 1891. When we started to cry, there was no fancy stuff for babes that were teething. There was no fancy stuff so my mom, who very smart woman, she would take a little tequila, put it on her finger, and put it in her gums. And oh man, it's like, yeah, this is kind of laid back, and all that. Wow, yeah. Thank you, Ma. Appreciate it. So when I told her that the reason I am a tequila alcohol drinker, she said, I never taught you that. I said, yes, you did, Ma. You told me the story that you used to put tequila in our gums so we wouldn't cry. She says, so now I'm a goddamn drunk and it's all your fault. I blame that goddamn woman for introducing me to the liquor of the gods. Which is true, by the way. Tequila is, well, actually, it is pulque, the liquor of the gods, but tequila is good enough. The poet that's next door, you will recognize him from HBO, Netflix, Police Bladder, or maybe not, because he is here right now incognito. He is a famous poet who has traveled the nation, the world, doing his work, preaching his gospel, ladies and gentlemen. And he arrives this evening to bring us into another phase of poetry, because now it's what, 11:15, so we're in the second half. Huh?
5 minutes tops.
Pinche Josué, man. You keep blowing my line, man.
Sorry, bro.
No, I like it. It gives me something to say. It gives me motivation. This is what we call motivational sit down. The thing when I asked them for the 20th time how to pronounce his name, he repeated it for the 20th time. And luckily, I'm not going to try to pronounce it and screw it up. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring up to the microphone that famous poet that you don't know yet, but he will be known because he's now on Facebook. He's been traveling through the lines. He's already in France. He's in Mexico City, in Helsinki, hanging out with 45. 45 is watching our hey, you guys. Fuck the CIA. Make me laugh, but don't make me laugh. I'm the straight guy here. I'm the straight guy. Right, Tom? By the way, that's not really Tom. That's Eric Clapton sitting right there. Let's give him a hand. Eric Clapton's in the house. I wanted him to sing okay. I can't, man. I'm a little bit. I'm in the weather. He hates it when I do that. Sorry, Eric. I mean, Tom. He's going, incognito. Like we say in Spanish, incognito. So let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for my dear good friend, Alex is in the house. Put your together. Let's bring it to the microphone. Because he's going to rock your soul.
Thanks a lot. This first poem I wrote a while back for this Malort Appreciation Night. And, it was as silly as it sounds, but I got this poem out of it. I loved a Joliet girl for better or worse, so my no good brother slept with her first. I'm not sure where she is now, but I'm sitting here drinking Malort. It's a wormwood liqueur, gold and clean, like Windy City Listerine, with notes of bitter grapefruit and fat child support. I drink each time that I describe that magic taste when you imbibe it, of freshly mowed grass clippings and two-stroke exhaust. Winter came and I looked her up. They bought a house. They got a pup. I burned a pallet off a fruit truck and sipped Jepsons to ward off the frost. Well, I drank enough of that stuff to figure out I'll need her. And though I lost a tooth and a tilt in the parking meter, still Malort boasts many fine properties when consumed in small doses. It settles your stomach, it steadies your aim, it makes you more charming when talking to dames. It inspires you to start using words like dames, knife fight, and tuberculosis. But my favorite way to drink Malort is down to the last drop, snort by snort, then walking through traffic down Damon Avenue screaming her name. I'm not sure how I wound up back in Joliet. They don't let us keep Jepsons in our jail cells yet. But I'm making dandelion moonshine eating my sweat socks that tastes almost the same. I'll do one more. This poem is a little childish, but it's about the last dragon on Earth, and it's called Steve's Birthday Blues. On Steve the Dragon's birthday, no one comes to wish him well. It is dank, decrepit cave where only he can stand the smell. There aren't any other dragons that come knocking on his door, and no Mrs. Steve to make him pick the bones up off the floor. Could he send out invitations? Who would even make the list? It seems those nights he used to battle have forgotten he exists. On Steve's rotten and lonesome birthday for the last 900 years, the python's grip of sorrow squeezed his armor chest for tears. But for all his tribulation, the thing that gets him through is the faintest aspiration that just come true. So on Steve the Dragon's birthday, he's got, but he can't blow out his candles. His breath is way too hot.
do right now, ladies and gentlemen? Let's everybody. Let's do here. Let's everybody applaud. Let them know out there that we're at the high. You will be in this world of thought. She will bring you down or take you up, spin you around, or just explode. Make sure drive.
What have you missed?
But Pilsen. Hey, I got my place. Easy to leave it louder, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give her a nice warm hand and bring her to the microphone. That's right.
Thank you. This first poem is called Molasses. You are a cult of death, a glowing coal forever breathing. My own faith suffocates me. You have given me to believe I cannot dream my own dreams. I breathe molasses and I believe. I breathe your breath. Always I dream your dreams. You are inside my burning throat. Where do life and death meet? Slowly caressing one another, always chanting in shadow. I pray to you on my knees. I am sinking and I pray. You always just tell me to pray. Where will death meet me? Where will you be, chanting?
All right.
This poem's in Spanish. It's called Shine. Luciérnaga ganó. Enamórate. Nunca jamás volveré a ver esa sonrisa. La que yo una mañana, un agosto soleado. Mentira. Me mandaste a la luna, Luciérnaga. Luciérnaga, no eres muy bella sin esa lucecita coqueta. No soy muy bella sin esa sonrisa que causaste. Sabes a verano, empalagoso y pesado, dulce a la medianoche. El amor es fosforescente, Luciérnaga. Yo ahora vivo en la luna.
Right.
This is I just finished this poem last week. I don't have the title of them. Forever this planet hides our infinite spells. Every tear spilt, all of everyone's grief is endless. Uncountable private spells, salted, spilling, absorbed forever sand and schools, forever heights of a ferocious ocean, crashing against time itself, amphibious goddesses watching. Absorbed forever by the breathing of the silent trees, verdant scripture led by the sun's hymns. All strife sees sunlight, all of everyone, each other in the sun. We breathe with the silent tree. We each.
All right.
Thank you.
It's Juliana, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, indeed.
Our next poet, we must fear. He's a fearful person. He's an ex-Jesuit who was fighting with the Nicaraguan rebels back in the day. He was preaching the gospel over there, and when the ship was going down, he took off his collar, picked up an AK-47, and said, "Libertad!" He read the Che Motorcycle Diaries. He read the speeches of Malcolm X. He did. So, ladies and gentlemen, when he saw wrong, he decided to make a change, and he said, "I'm gonna let my beard grow thick, make me look like a badass son of a bitch, and I'm gonna write poetry to change the fucking world." And therefore, with his powerful words, ladies and gentlemen, spewing on the time, let's bring it to the microphone with a nice loud of right here. Put your hands together. Ah! For Tyler Curry. Ex-Jesuit priest. Badass. Brother.
Boy, are you all about to be disappointed. I will say that my confirmation saint was Saint Ignatius. So the Jesuit thing was not too far off. So my approach to writing poetry is sort of like doing a puzzle. And I've got a lot of new stuff tonight that extending that metaphor, we're still missing pieces here, but I think we've got a corner or two, maybe a border. I like to take long train trips when I can, and the next two poems are about some of the stuff that I've seen. They don't have names. North Dakota newspaper, I stopped just one section marked Scandinavian temperatures of interest, while to my right, a wild turkey etches April snow in the library parking lot, still empty of cars. Tonight, 400 miles off, I'll feel the iron itch at the center of each bone and dream of empty oceans, rivers iced enough to walk.
All right.
A few miles down the track here. What will I receive in Whitefish, where I steal this air, ribs spreading to accommodate each breath like flexing fingers of hands just about to fly open? What depends keep with them? The poems we wrote turned 13 this year, old enough to break their own hearts. What ails the boys in Whitefish? And what's at the bottom of Fox Lake? And in Illyria, who's still awake? The sun. Say it with the urgency of a chore begun too late in the day. You couldn't get there if you left right now. Instead, find a home amid the seep of seawater, the bearded fuzz of damp that seeks your seams. Doesn't the damp rise? Doesn't the light linger? Can't we bandage as we go? From here, we'll count the boats that brought us and what they do on breezeless days. From here, we'll forget the words we heard someone else say at war with water and time. Thanks.
Right on, brother. Woo! Revolution! That poetry, but you guys don't realize it's all code. That's how they talk to each other in the jungle. Let me interpret for you real quick. First poem about a train where a snake recognizes him. Can you believe they don't want a fucking black Superman in fucking Hollywood? Shit.
It's fucked up. Wakanda forever.
What?
Wakanda forever.
But they had a Black Panther. I wonder why. I'm wondering why. You see my wheels spinning in my head? She walked through the doors, and I was mesmerized. Like a cool chill from one of the glaciers as it trashed Earth. I felt a certain nip in my heart, a tug, a rip, and I said, yeah, she's the one. I'm gonna make her wait all the way down to the bottom of the poetry, because I want to make sure I can hear her. After 3 shots of Jameson and 4 bottles of beer, my mind is really, really concentrating now. I go, yeah. Everything else, everybody was just like, whew, words. But no, I was waiting for she to come to the microphone. Quiet. No, it's not you. I'm looking at you, but just to make everybody think it's you, but it's. You'll be here next week. Say, put me in the fucking microphone and give me one of the cool introductions. I'm an English major. I write big words on my paper writer. Like metamorphosis.
Is she an English major? Let's find out.
Next week.
Drama build.
Thank you, Chuck. And next week, ladies and gentlemen, the Mormon Catholic, ex-Catholic, will be here with English words. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a nice warm hand for that who made me feel like Celia Silva, ladies and gentlemen, is in the house. Let's give her a nice warm hand. She's been waiting patiently and the silence so we can bring her to the microphone one more time. Nice and loud. Silva.
Okay, well, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I actually, I have a story to read. It's a flash fiction.
I thought you were going to say that's a real poetry.
Sorry, guys. Disappointing. So I am from Chicago, but I don't live here anymore, and I'm just visiting.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Is that a song? Yeah, I think so.
Alright.
Cut it out.
Alright, so this is a flash fiction piece. It's called Babcia's Old Gold, and Babcia in Polish means grandmother. On her deathbed, she asked for his teeth. Where are his teeth? I need my husband. Dad and I looked at each other in bewilderment. Babcia's husband, my Dziadek, grandpa, had been dead for decades. He died before my dad was born. I knew very little about Dziadek. Babcia yelled, "Kurwa, gdzie moja zapalniczka? I need a cigarette." In her state of delirium, she still wanted to smoke, and of course, she needed her precious lighter. She'd recently lost her mind and finally had to let go of that lighter. She held on to it until she couldn't hold it anymore. The lighter was made of gold, but not any old, regular gold. Babcia was a chronic smoker, and eventually consumed her, and it eventually consumed her, ate her up inside. Cancer didn't stop her from smoking, though. The nurses had to pry the gold lighter out of her hand before each session of radiation therapy. She'd yell out at them in Polish, "Zostawcie mnie, kurwa, w spokoju. Leave me the fuck alone." I remember the lighter as far back as I can first remember my Babcia. She didn't exist without her gold lighter and cigarettes. Babcia lived alone in the 1913 Chicago-style bungalow next to St. Albert's Cemetery. As soon as you walked into Babcia's house, you were hit with the smell of cigarettes and lilies. Her house was scattered with crystal vases full of tiger lilies and crystal bowls filled with cigarette butts and ashes. She once told me that lilies were her favorite flower and cigarettes her favorite vice. She'd sit at her kitchen table smoking one Virginia Slim after the other, listening to the Polish radio, staring out into the cemetery. I wasn't allowed to touch her faithful lighter, ever. Every year on All Saints' Day, we'd go to St. Albert's and put her dead lily flowers on Jadek's grave. Babcia said she loved him just enough. Dead flowers is what he has deserved. She'd light another cigarette and go for a walk alone in the cemetery. Dad and I would leave her. We knew better than to stop her or join her. I'd watch her from the window, puffing her long Virginia Slims in one hand while clutching a gold lighter in the palm of her other hand. She talked to herself. She looked like she was praying. But Babcia didn't go to church, and she didn't believe in prayer. She said, "Prayers for the weak. Just believe in yourself and you won't need a prayer." But out there in the cemetery, I wondered if she really was praying. Every year I'd watch her walk alone, smoking and muttering, and eventually she'd stop at an unmarked grave, spit on it, and walk back to the house. Babcia didn't talk about Jadek very much, but from the little that she did share, I did know that he worked and made the money, and he had a mouthful of gold teeth worth thousands of dollars. That American money was worth a lot back then. Babcia told Dad and me after a few vodkas one Christmas Eve. The night before she died, she woke in a fit of panic. "Give me his teeth. Where are his gold teeth?" Dad and I didn't know what she was talking about. "I need my lighter, his teeth, give it to me." She groped around the hospital bed. I pulled his gold teeth out one by one. I loved him so much. "I need the lighter. It's what's left of him. Where is the lighter?" "Mom, what are you talking about?" Dad said. She stared right through him and said, "I loved him so. I pulled his teeth out one by one. I made his lover watch me do it. Then I killed her too."
All right! Another tale of true love.
Only at the hideout, ladies and gentlemen.
Kill her grandma.
So, where you at?
I live in Oregon.
Oregon. Doesn't Josh live in Oregon?
Yeah,
too?
he does in Portland. Where are you from, Bend?
I live in south of Portland in Malala.
Okay.
A really good friend of ours, his name is Josh Gaines. He is the editor of a book
Thought
called...
Crime Press, and
I'm sorry?
his press is Thought Crime Press.
Thought Crime Press.
And the book wasn't it on?
It's not my precedent, and it is a fantastic book, anti-45, but he's in the neck of your neck.
He's in Portland.
He's in Portland, right?
He's important.
But just in case, look him up on Facebook, Josh Gaines, cool dude. Yeah, send him a message and say, hey, Captain Kidd, Oklahoma Kid. He'll understand what you're talking about. He'll know you met us. Captain Oklahoma Kid. Did this thing get louder all of a sudden? Or my ears finally cleared out? I've been going deaf for the past 6 months, and I don't know why. You would know the next poet because you would know, because you're a seer. I can tell you're a seer, right? Always agree. He is the one who's been streaming us live on Facebook all night long. He's also an MC of our poetry. Just bring me back a Miller. High life. Just in case. Put on my tab. I was being, charming, that's by not saying that on the microphone.
Okay.
Chuck. It's my show, Chuck.
You're right, absolutely.
I'm the one with bullshit and the funny stuff. You're just here for, pretty face.
Yeah, thank you.
You see your pretty face? Pretty face. Plus, I'm paying him $100 to take our photographs. Checks in the mail. As I was saying is, all of a sudden I went deaf again. Thank you for being here. We have a couple more poets, maybe 12, 15. You're coming up next, don't worry about it. I got you on the list. Mormon, somewhere from the south of the border. That's right. Are you Mexican?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. I love Mexican people, by the way. Mexican food is some of my favorites. I'm not kidding you, man. I love those things they call enchiladas. With that red sauce stuff. And that, tasty queso fries cold. Eric, come and help me out, man. I'm digging a hole over here, man. Throw me a fucking line, Layla. Okay, something, man. Oh, you're picking these poor people, and you're going, yeah. Luckily, he's leaving me alone. Fucks with me all the time. Yes. Well, you probably want to, his entourage, so it's surrounded by pretty women. Pisses me off. I don't know how the fuck he does it. He really can, he really doesn't sing that well. Fucking good guitarist, 3 chords, 70 times, all over again. Plus, you still have the shit from the black community anyways, You know that blues riff that he does? Muddy Waters, all those folks. Our next poet, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is a poetry night this evening. Let me bring him up. He's been waiting all night long. Let me bring him up because he's a really good poet. He's also one of Week's MCs whenever he has a courage to get in the front of the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been filming us. He's an excellent writer. He's a prodigy. He wrote his first play at the age of 7. 7 years old, he wrote his first play. Nobody understood what the fuck he was writing because it was all in gibberish. But he wrote the fucking thing. So let's give a nice warm hand. Doug, 2 Pistol Power, ladies and gentlemen. What up? Bring it up. My birthday.
It's a pleasure and a privilege and a pleasure to be here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us in real life, in Meat Space here. To those of you still watching on the stream, thank you for bearing with us. We're glad you're still here.
Barry? What do you mean Barry? We're all lively here.
Very lively here, very lively here. Yes, indeed. This might be as loud as it was at the beginning of the night. We should talk to the good people at Sennheiser and all those other Nazi companies that make the best microphones and see what their opinions are. No, it is true. Germans make the best microphones because Hitler, like a great slam poet, would start low and end high. And so they need to capture the little subtleties at the beginning when he's being really deep. And at the end, when he's being really loud, they still need to hear it. So that's why the Germans make the best microphones, is because Hitler was the original slam poet. Don't quote me on that. If you have any issues with any of this, my name is Gregorio Gomez, and I'll be here all week. Next week will actually be on Facebook, and we're going to start to use YouTube for the archival material. We're going to be on Twitch. Is anybody watching shit on Twitch these days? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was a pity, yeah, but I'll take it anyway. No, they have a burgeoning IRL in real life section, and there's no poetry open mics on it yet, so we're gonna blaze a trail. I'm pretty excited about it. We're here from every Monday from now till the end of time, which is gonna be about a year and a half from now. This is Life on the Shore. I hope you enjoy it. I live on top of a tower on a frozen island in the surf of a cold black sea. I have many toys and 20 beds to comfort me, and the sun was always my friend. Here he comes again. I live on top of a tower on a frozen island in the swell of a cold black sea. Thank you for your lovely letter, asking what's become of me. I cannot go back to your sweet town in your proud land. I cry to think of all those houses returned to sand. Tomorrow I'll have a party. The Indian prince will bring Havarti, and the duchess will bring by her favorite wine. I'll catch salmon all day and serve them smiling, the host, stinking of brine. Then I'll serve us limoncellos as our stories find their ends. I only ever wanted to be alone, and to have such clever, lovely friends. It's Life on the Shore, and I hope you enjoy it, folks. Thank you. And this one's called Animals. I go way back with this one because I wrote it. And I was digging through the waterlogged papers at the bottom of the bag that I keep the camera equipment in, and I found something. I was like, oh yeah, it's speaking to me again. This is a good mic. It kind of woke up halfway through the show, but now it like captures my breathing. Listen. I can do a really deep and meaningful performance now, like James Gandolfini in the late seasons of The Sopranos, where he was like mic'd way too well. You could hear every like. Yeah, it's good. It's great for poetry. This is Animals, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm a coloratura, says the spider to no one in the dark. He's a really amazing visual artist, says the sparrow to the other sparrow, as they watch a dog rolling in the crap of a raccoon. Well, I should go back to my tree, says the squirrel to the other squirrel. Would you like to chase me up it like a crazy person? Oh, I shouldn't, the other squirrel replies. I should go back to my tree and check on my kids. But thank you for thinking of me. A little bird sits in a bird bath in the sun, washing himself with his much joy and enthusiasm as has ever existed. Oh my God, thank you, says the little bird to my mother, who isn't there. I really needed this. 2 pigeons sit in Millennium Park. And we're almost the same thing as doves, and we get no credit for it. Yeah. And you know what I hate the most about them? It's the bitchy little looks they give you. Like, why would you want to live with us? Can't you see we're smoky and poisonous and awful? And it's like, yeah, thank you. We know you're disgusting. So is your disgusting food. We just can't stop eating it. Yes. I hope we get some of a taquito today. Look at them, buzzing nervously in and out of their big glass hives like bees, like apes dressed as bees. But I like bees. They're crunchy. And they act like the whole thing will last forever. But you and I both know that in the next blink of the sky's eye, they'll all be consumed by fire. What? Seems a shame. What shame? Don't you know we'll be kings again, stupid? Like in the days of T-Rex, the king of the dinosaurs? Where will we get taquitos? Are you kidding me? I don't believe in T-Rex. What does that even mean? Maybe sometimes Tyrannosaurus felt like a king. I think most of the times, Tyrannosaurus was just a hungry bird. As the first pigeon tries to think of a clever rejoinder, the sun sets on the park, and the two pigeons fly away. It's animals, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. The adventures of 2 pigeons in Millennium Park, living their life, making their choices, as we all must make choices. To stall or not to stall. To read the first poem that's in front of you, or to stretch it out just a little longer, looking for just the right one. You guys were too entertaining tonight, is the trouble. Usually I'd just be casually ignoring you, flipping through these, looking for a piece, but everyone was good tonight. I'm kidding, you're all always good. But it's so good tonight that I couldn't even prepare a professional set for you. So, okay, here's what I once said to my, no, fuck that one. Here we go, here's the one. It feels right, it feels good. It's at the bottom of the river, it is dark. And then I'll turn it over to whoever's up next after me. If you want to live 100 years or more, you have to get close to the sun. This is what the trees know that the grass doesn't. When rough winds are blowing, that is a good time to let go of pride. This is what the grass knows that the trees don't. Still, I know that nothing's really true unless it rhymes, and I refuse to be defined by the tenor of these snitch-ass times. I had grown weary of humility. I wore it like a dusty old coat season after season, only to discover it made me sneeze and it didn't keep out the cold. My Dutch uncle once told me, each man needs a light dusting of arrogance, or men will resent you, and women will suspect you. Now I take that advice like Polish medicine, which is to say, constantly, whether I need it or not. And everything is so easy for me now that it defies explanation. The clouds are only my friends now, and everywhere I go is my home. At the bottom of the river it is dark. Little care I for your burrs, barbs, Damien. You've been trying to sell that big bag of salt for years. No one will ever buy it now. We both know that, Damien. The door's closed, and the streetlights have all gone out for you, Damien. Anyway, I'm gonna go lie down on this pile of towels. If anyone asks after me, I'm outside having a smoke. Is it the same? Let it rain. I came in the same way I left in the rain. I only ever understood confusion, but I was rather taken with disdain. Let the game go sane, let the night come alive like black terrain. Let my name wash away in the rain. At the bottom of the river, it is dark. Oh, but I'm sick of pride and your petty ambition. I got a new career, washing dishes down by the riverside. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo, I'll wash your dish. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo, chicken bones for the fish. Still, I am most often drunk, like the popular gangster rapper Blas Blucius. Oh, but I'm on to you now. I know you're trying to confuse us. Just as rabbits get pulled out of their holes by the moon, just close your eyes. We'll be there soon. Just like purple flowers sit under suffering stars, we'll wait here quietly for the Prince of Mars. Once I was dumb, like a monkey. Now I am smart, like a dog. Smart enough not to worry about the things I will never understand. In order to explain all of this, I'd have to take you on a journey of 1,000 years.
Bucky!
I'll take 1,000 beers. It was a time when we all had to say that every woman was beautiful and every man was handsome. It was a time we wore our fragility like armor. We were always deciding on new rules and forgetting to tell anyone, so our hearts were always on fire. Back then, we were all working on our own private gardens. Some of them were very beautiful, but like Congress or a European film director, we never found the patience to prune our gardens. There was no trimming. We just kept planting seeds. The old man was thinking in these and other veins as he dripped generally towards sleep with no special commitment in the lamplight. Then settings of pastel pinks and oranges and sandy tans, adobe walls where calmly dressed people talked in lively tones, content in their surroundings, and without concern that there was some better or realer place to be. And if time and space were infinite, if context was free-flowing off a cliff into nothing, at least this was where they were, and would remember having been. This was the place, as sure as any. Someday, my descendants will get to live in space, one of them said with no special prompting. Do you plan on having children? Someone else asked. Doesn't matter. Everyone who's born after I die are my descendants, and someday they will live in space. At the bottom of space, it is dark. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Doug. True to the introduction. I didn't understand a fucking word you said. Of course, English is my second language, and bullshit my third. Following this, you know, like when you're in a jazz club. You're in a jazz club. It's smoky. The lights are dark, and then you hear it. It begins. The best is saved for last. Our next three poets, ladies and gentlemen, you will be mind blown. Let's start with Ellen McNair. Put your hands together and bring to the microphone. Ellen McNair.
Thank you, Gregorio. This is my book, self-published also, from Checker Cloth. The title poem is from Checker Cloth. This is from 1990 to the present. And I'm going to read 3 poems from this book. First one is called Moon is Love. As the moon appears from under a cloud, our evening orb then shines so proud. Thus loving you, I soon nibble your ear on a black night that arrives truly clear. As under the moon we remain to meet, your lips are cherry, so ripe and sweet. They cling to mine so cool and wet, you are my love, so dear my pet. The stars soon come out to play, nightly ball is here to stay, I bless the night more than the day. My heart is a sponge, not made of clay. My love for you is always and ever true. I'm ready to give all of my life to you. Your skin quite bright against the moonlight glistens bright with love's rich dew tonight. You are so radiant with your passion. My love for you is this night's passion. I long for your tender, warm embrace. The moon's rays alight your open face. Kiss me as many are the stars that loom. You make me swoon before the moon, and I can't believe that it's already June. 4 months we've loved under the moon. The nightly part of the day is now ours. Under the moonlight and the stars, we own the night and all its parts. We know the love that is in our hearts. Thank you.
All right.
And this one is, of this I relate and I can't wait. To tell this experience I cannot wait. To all my friends I wish to relate. It just happened when I meditate. Afterwards I truly feel great. Meditation helps to settle the mind. No matter better means will you ever find. It is taught by teachers who are certified by the teacher's training course so fine. Enjoyed this practice some 40 years among a generation of my peers. For this I am grateful to give many cheers. This experience of bliss drives out all my fears. I was peacefully in my meditative thrall. I felt light as a feather overall. Next feeling can't be overstated. To me this time, I felt ever so elated. I had this shift of body and of mind as they both began to unwind. For this experience I remained innocent, though in spirit I feel quite magnificent. The next moment seemed so very abrupt. Was I coming down from being up? Truly firmly placed in my seat by an outside force, I continued to meditate, to stay the course. I look forward to twice daily meditations and other experiences of real integration, besides endless progress in human relations. This is only one of many sensations. And so, as they say, I will take it as it comes. I can't wait to relate this to my chums. For me, meditation is so much fun. And with all this said, my poem is done. On the dozen line, a bit of prosody. Vincent says, by the roaring fire. Remember those always cold winter nights? There's a big roaring fire in our stone fireplace. Even the sprinkling of 9 stars was cold. Yet only ourselves were warm besides that fire. Family of 6, 2 parents, 4 young kids. We would bundle up under several large blankets of a huge king-size mattress on the frosty floor, against the dead cold of a dying central furnace. Our strong father was a big bear of a man. Our mother was pretty as a picture painting. We 3 sons wore his handsome facial features. Our little sister was as good looking as her mom. It was maple sugar time in Mom's old time Vermont, which we always celebrated at home in Chicago. We had collected purely driven powdered snow for our special New England brown maple syrup. The taste of that melting snow on wooden plates was as sweet as love shining from our parents. It just didn't matter if our family couldn't afford to pay the heat bill for our central heater. That day was warm enough in love for summer. The bodies huddled and cuddled together against the lasting cold of winter's abiding day. But with each other close, we all felt it not. Our family spent more than one winter thus, but time passes us all when we grow older. The bodies of others come in to keep us warm, and we are no longer close to each other today. That big stone fireplace is long gone now. The family house replaced by new 4 flat. No longer do we face the winter cold together. Thank you very much.
All right.
I have to give, reverence to Tom, Eric. Victor, ladies and gentlemen, is an aspiring stand-up comic. Sometimes he does a little comedy, sometimes he does a little poetry, sometimes he does in English, sometimes he does it in Spanish. Don't do the whole bilingual shit tonight, okay? Only because nobody's gonna understand you except me, and I'm gonna say like, what the fuck are you talking about? In English, that is. But I'm glad that he's here. He sent me a message that says, I am not gonna be able to arrive, and then he shows up and says, put me in the goddamn mic, the list, put the third. So man, you're an hour and a half fucking late. Ladies and gentlemen, an hour and a half fucking late. Victor Sagui, put yours together. Thank you, Victor, the mic. Very good friend, Victor.
I'm gonna fucking do that bilingual shit tonight. I don't see a goddamn brown person in here, except.
These are white steps, bro.
Yo, that's crazy as fuck. Come on. Like, segregation was like 60 years ago? That's fucking nuts, y'all. Let's just keep saying that, though, so people will fucking wake up. Alright, well, change the moods. This is a poem I wrote for someone that I met recently. Yeah, it's called Smiling Face. Smiling face, you'll forget me if you forget to smile. Because life is better enjoyed if you have a smiling face. We shouldn't forget that the paths of life are never what we envision. We can't control who walks along our side. We can't control how many steps they take on the same beaten path. We also can't control how we'll feel in their presence or absence. You'll forgive me if you forget to look towards the sky, ignoring the bright stars I'm hiding behind. We should remember that in the darkest moments, the light will find us. And the only way to see the impact of your light inside is to look with your heart and not your eyes. You'll forget me if you stop smiling. If you stop, your laughter will become mute in the wind and my memories will remain silent. You'll forget me if you forget to smell the flowers. All so beautiful. All are marvels of the universe, reflecting your existence. You see, that's the beauty of life, and you'll never understand your impact, but don't forget to water the plants. Though time and distance can separate humanity, love will unite all souls. You'll recognize me by my eyes, and if you laugh, we'll have found each other again. The universe smiles upon you, smiling face. So yeah, I wrote that for somebody. Entonces, ahora voy a leer el poema en español porque lo escribí en español y este poema es dedicado a ti, Melina, en donde tú estés, ojalá que escuches este poema. Carita sonriente. Carita sonriente, me olvidarás si te olvidas de sonreír. La vida es más disfrutada No debemos olvidarnos que los caminos de la vida nunca serán como lo pensamos. No podemos controlar quiénes caminarán a nuestro lado. No podemos controlar cuántos pasos ellos tomarán en el mismo camino. Tampoco controlamos cómo nos sentimos en su presencia y su ausencia. Me olvidarás si dejas de mirar al cielo. Si ignoras las estrellas brillantes, no me encontrarás escondido atrás de ellas. Debemos hacernos de acuerdo que en momentos oscuros nos encontrará la luz. Y la única manera que podrás ver el impacto de tu luz adentro será cuando ves con el corazón y no con los ojos. Me olvidarás si dejas de sonreír, si dejas de reírte y tus carcajadas se vuelven mudo. En el viento también mis memorias se quedarán calladas. Me olvidarás si dejas de oler las flores, todas tan bonitas. Son maravillas de la belleza natural, reflejando tu existencia. Eso es la belleza de la vida, lo cual tú nunca sabrás tu impacto. Pero no dejes de echarles agua. El tiempo y la distancia separan a los humanos, pero el amor unirá cada alma. Me reconocerás por mis ojos. Y si sonríes, nos hemos encontrado de nuevo. El universo sonríe sobre tu carita sonriente. Thank you.
Translation, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, honey pie, I love you. Just pie and your smile is hot. Thank you. Our next poet, ladies and gentlemen, he's been around for a while. He's excellent. He's going to be published all over the place. He has a really cool joint to go read poetry at a bookstore called Heirloom Books. Is that correct? Well, you can tell when. This guy has some really excellent poetry that comes from the depths of who the hell knows where. I'm glad that he's here. You guys are amazing. God damn you. You act like thieves in the fucking night, man.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for being here. See you next time.
That's why you got me. That's why I'm your social media consultant.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Amelia just showed up, of course.
Yeah.
So, let's bring up Gregory Curry, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it a little microphone.
All right. As he prior mentioned, I run a show every fourth Saturday of the month. That's coming up pretty soon. I've got somebody featuring him, if I remember who. But if you enjoy what you hear, I do have books for sale. I had my last publication in 2014 by Pudd'nhead Press, and I just went into its second printing. So I'm very happy about that. I've got 3 poems with you for you if you've got the patience. So this is one. The first one I'm going to read is something inspired by an ex of mine who said that I can't even imagine how you're going to remember me. She's talking about a very bitter person. So I tried to prove her wrong in doing that. There's that hot, subtle breeze blowing again. The one that whips up somewhere between the end of summer and the beginning of fall, and only when someone is sitting on a porch or balcony, chain smoking with a glass of cheap whiskey in their hand, or nothing but remnants of the tears that they wiped off their faces, not sure whether to play a sad song that is somehow comforting, or appreciate the ability of the silence that lets them say all the things they never thought appropriate
When bartenders started pouring gin and scotch, women wonder whether their husbands will come home, and husbands wonder where their wives are, or more importantly, if their absence is even noticed, as they do their best to fill otherwise empty shoes. I'm not that smart man, so I'm not sure if this is how it begins or ends. I remember the good times, writing awards, the Picasso in your 95-year-old great aunt's home, the tile work on your mother's bathroom ceiling, dealing with whatever shit car you had managed to borrow for the night or day so you could come to see me. At times when I developed agoraphobia and couldn't be bothered to leave the house I live in but will never own, the names of each of your dogs, the stacks of marble and granite leaning up against the walls, as naturally as a cowboy in a saloon holding a cigar in some old western I might have watched as a kid. I miss you, none of which is important. Stone cold. More than anything, I remember the days of labor, the discussions of moving in, of fixing up your house, cleaning out rooms, selling artwork, taking the train, then the bus, then walking to your home where I prayed in your bathroom, cried on your lap, fell asleep as all the dogs barked or whined, the way you tied your hair, walking to the mailbox at 4 o'clock in the morning in slippers and pajama pants to mail love letters and poetry, receiving postcards from your home, you taking a photo of me wearing only slippers, smoking by your power saw after sex, the night you came to see me in the hospital with matchbox cars and was still there the next morning, me wired up with IVs like an old radio, and you are beautiful. We fell asleep after discussing film and literature, sharing my narrow bed, my white girl Southside queen, or at times when still communicating, where I told you I'd like to be held as I fell asleep, you about your father, as though from the mouths of babes. I remember the nightmares. Are you familiar with nightmares? Holding each other as either of us cried, days we barely spoke at all and were both equally heard, those late nights putting my arm around you, subconsciously syncopating the rhythm of my breathing to match yours in some kind of harmony that can be found in willing. Maybe what meant the most was being able to wake up to a world I was willing to face, having fallen asleep, breath on the back of my neck. Thank you. All right. All right, so I spent the better, let's see here, I was in the hospital today, and this year, I've been in the hospital about 5 times with diabetic ketoacidosis. Then I fractured a vertebrae, then I broke 2 ribs, then I got a concussion. So it's been an interesting year. The monitors are beeping. The doctors are talking. My pulse there, but weak, is still fighting. In this place where doctors like Nephilium stand tall over beds as though their own solar system created by a God whose name I do not know, where bodies are created, destroyed, introduced to the reality of time, suffering, and love, only to be placed aside, lost again in years to come. Every Sunday I go to a church named after a long-dead saint. On my knees in my own home, I try to find the God I've been looking for so many years, trying to forgive myself of many things I've been accused of, trying to figure out what I am even guilty of, what really brings me here, finding peace or trying to, a type of love and truth I've only read of in books. I'm still looking. It's funny, the appreciation one can suddenly find time when it's learned that it is running short, that it will all end in a matter of hours. This is when the hours pass like days and the days like minutes. There's a cross next to the clock. The priest came by and I was unable to shake his hand. Bound by wires, boxes, and pads attached to the chest, he said he would pray for me. Come, visit me, curl up next to me in this narrow bed. If you ever the curiosity of what a dying man's thoughts are, I will tell you and thank you for your time. The cross still hangs by the clock. And often as I look at it, I have no idea what time it is. And frankly, I don't give a shit. So now, back in the hospital, where I wear gowns like angels or virgins, neither of which I am nor claim to be. The baby is crying. The widow is crying. I am writing, haven't eaten in days. The word deceased heard too often, not sure if it is a threat or supposed to be motivation. In this place of suffering, celebration, crying and cursing, swaddled in white sheets, small rooms full of animals, this is the place I came closest to finding what I had looked for so long now. The morphine is kicking in, and this is where I've never felt closer to or further away from God. All right, this last piece I wrote after I got out of the hospital today. Started it a couple days ago, but didn't actually come together until today, but we'll see what happens. This is simply called On Pressure. It's 93 degrees in the Chicago sun. Reached that time of year when the chimneys lay dormant, like an elevated cemetery laying across the otherwise uninterrupted skyline, tombstones that never have flowers left before them. As much as they offer in winter, no one has ever prayed at their base, left offerings and only perhaps shed tears at their starting points, dictated by heritage. Only the air conditioners interfere with the silence and break the humidity. I hate the sun. It's the 13th of July. It happens to be Friday. I'm watching British romance movies, crying, God, it feels so good to do so. I have something for you. It's not that I want you to have it. I'm just not strong enough to carry it anymore. It's a combination of abuse, streaks, addiction, of things Pandora let loose on long nights, open Bibles, what to use for a tourniquet, broken bar stools and whiskey bottles, sleepwalking, holding pillows, wishing it was her, whoever the hell she is. How do I pay for the medication? Empty cigarette packs, unfinished paintings, and too much time looking in the mirror without having shaved first. Another day without a shower. I'm sorry I hurt you, and no, I have no idea who that is directed to. I pray, I beg, please take this, put it behind a book I've already read, a box full of ancestors, achievements, and regrets that I have not opened in years, somewhere I will never look and they will never find. This may sound like one, but lacks the romance, though not the sincerity of a suicide note. This is simply asking a favor. I've never written a will, and I'm afraid this is all I will have to leave behind. Wow.
Thank you, Gregory, and I hope you feel better. And to conclude the night, what can I say? He always rocks the house at midnight. Let's give a nice warm hand for Emilio Maldonado. Put it up.
So who here speaks Spanish besides Gregorio? Nobody else besides Gregorio speaks Spanish.
I'm fluent in jive.
Cut me some slack, Jack.
French or Bulgarian, I'm good.
Oh yeah, they will throw you money every year, right? So yeah, this is like $1,400.
Okay. That's fine. A veces hay que poner una bendición, ¿no? Mujer de la piel morena, dame un trago de café. Aquí te traigo
también.
Woke up scared out of the bright red room filled with flashing loud bangs of shotguns in the alley of 1856 South Troop. It was scary and alive when my girl was safe at her place. I kept my head low during the return fire. I looked past, blinked, and forced myself to ignore a chamuco that sits in my room at the foot of my bed. It was a hard choice disbelieving in magic to deal with reality. Terrifying but familiar as Sunday afternoon tortas. After this, I felt around to make sure my girl wasn't here. I called downstairs to Anna and Tony to make sure that they were okay. Then I tricked and called the police, making sure to keep my voice low even though I was on the 3rd floor. Everywhere, elsewhere, morning glories cling to fences, indifferent to a carnage, ridding themselves from the rage that lay ahead of it. Wild, sin caricia, and merciful nature. When it suits me, the wind is welcome, but she also destroys hopes and dreams. I find it pleasant now, shaking, set glistening from my fingers as I whisper, and I wait for the wind to blow the gunfire away. Spoke to a mountain. Been about a year since somebody talked dirty to me. Got my hair cut at Mr. Smooth's. Slim was handling book, Big Dre took care of the 2 white boys, clean, lined up proper. I rock hop a riverbed that morning. Mr. Smooth called me baby, and I listened to shit shooting 1-on-1. Tried not to fall asleep. California love had me keeping my ears Serengeti style, wondering if he would smell it out of town on me. I trusted Mr. Smooth, so I closed my eyes and I got a proper shave. Drifted a little bit. What I wanted. You with me here in Nashville. What I needed. To go by myself. Drink a lot. Miss you. I saw a shimmering ocean, the sunlight kissing and reflecting into my eyes. La venganza de Dios. Man, geez, I see pretty girls with sweatpants and I think of you. Roosters. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, me in a cab in the largest city in the world, walking out of the bus terminal, I heard a fucking rooster crowing. It keeps on feeling incredible here. Palm trees in Aguascalientes line many roads. In most of the Mexico City that I travel in, it's old. But not like cool old. More like Rust Belt old. Spent, beat up. Never mind that shit. I wake up on the number 49 bus. Desperation en los ojos de mi madre, imágenes una eternidad, no puede borrar. She asked for the police station Sunday morning. America doesn't believe in this or the village. It has potbelly sandwiches and open on Sunday. Los ojos de mi madre, none y'all, I wish this on none y'all, even my enemies, porque madre worried enough. The hit child no sabe lo que pasa, solo que tiene hambre y sed. Sus manitas agarran a su mamá. Le ofrecimos ayuda, she turned us down. Wouldn't trust another man. Not today. A mountain weeps alone. Sometimes feels like the last 15 years were spent by someone else, and then it was me. I'm the motherfucker. I'm the enemy. I'm the reason. It was my fault. I killed Kennedy. I paid for the poison, the love's lost for mine, the lives flushed for mine. I opened the wrong door, turned on the wrong light, went north instead of home, went south instead of your place, sat while you danced, drank while you danced, danced when you wanted to talk, smiled when you caught me looking at you, played fun when it was time to get serious, took that cab, fell in the snow. Goddamn organ grinder fucking monkey, I chained myself. I wore the monkey suit with pride, with glee, strutting around telling the same bullshit stories, surly, the same surly, wearing blinders that were meant for cowards. I had mine fitted. Watched Fred fucking Anderson soar and introduce me to dreams. Synapses rewired and clicked on by drums, by sweat, by legs and cunts and asses, eyes and that spot in their arm. The freckle I always owned. The spot I claimed for only me. Forgetting now which one was mine. Letting someone else connect the dots. Why does night have to be so short? Love, love, love. 3 words I've yet to decipher, another thing I mislaid. The nostalgia for it in the same way that I miss Mexico. But I was raised in concrete and brick and green trees. Gray sidewalk sandpaper, gypsies, and that goddamn belt overseer rapist slumlord justice that meted out welts and screams and death threats for 10 fucking years. Platform shoes, but never looking cool. Haircuts and never looking cool. Tears on dirty cheeks, how the fuck were they always dirty? And gasping for breath. Thunder and fear and love and lust. Pride. Alleyways shining in Chinatown with last night's piss and this morning's rain. Nostalgia for someone else's stories. Smells that went into different noses. I'm running out of steam faster than a drum solo. The trouble with life, the arm baby strollers with broken wheels. When will I get a meaningful erection again, Doc? When did I ever mean an erection? Let that guy in. I'm staring across the room and I feel my blood rise because that's all I have left. I'm all roused. And it's not even 4 o'clock in the morning. I miss being whispered to. I give to everybody else with myself, yeah. What I keep are the regrets and the jealousies. I hate the look of my breath in the baker's window. Je suis désolé. Je désirais tous. Tous, motherfucker, la tous. My God, I forgot your freckles. I said I would never forget them.
All right. I'm glad you all made it. And good night. Good night. In the house.
Thank you. Hey, we have to go out to the bar out front.
Trilingual, man.
Because,
See ya. How you doing? You're raising that, right? No, I didn't.
it's almost like, yeah, we all gotta go to work tomorrow.
Not it.
Thank you.